Hey everyone, please support what I do to help keep Greyhawk alive by subscribing to the channel. Also, please consider becoming a channel member to get early access to videos, exclusive live chats, quarterly adventure modules, and more. Thanks, and enjoy the show. So, I went and saw Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves today, and that's what I want to talk about today on Greyhawk Grognard. So, just a preface, this is going to be spoiler-free, or at least as spoiler-free as I can make it. If something had appeared in the trailers, I consider that fair game, but I'll try not to spoil anything else. Alright, so I saw this at one of the Amazon preview shows that they did today, Sunday, for Amazon Prime people only. The theater was a small theater, but it was mostly full, so just to give you some context. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun with this movie. Now I know, let's get this out of the way. I know there are going to be a lot of people who are just never going to see this movie because they want to punish Hasbro. I get that. They want this movie to flop because they want to punish Hasbro for what Wizards of the Coast tried to do with the open gaming license a couple of weeks ago. I get that. I completely understand that. I was one of them, but I figured I had to see it because, you know, I run this channel and I have to make reviews of it. So I understand that thing, and you don't need to flood the comments with it. I get it. But as a movie, let's put this in stages here. As a D&D movie, this is the best D&D movie I've ever seen. Official branded Dungeons & Dragons movie. This is the best one. It is funny. It is exciting. There are some good jump scares. It has a nice convoluted plot with side quests and stuff, the kind of thing you would expect to see in a movie like this. It was really well done. As far as it being a swords and sorcery movie, or a fantasy movie in general, it's good. It's definitely up there. It's on a par with, it's probably better than The Sword and Sorcerer, which I love, or Hawk the Slayer, which I also love. It's much better than those. I guess it's not quite up to the Conan the Barbarian Schwarzenegger one. That's going to be hard to match. But on the whole, it is up there in terms of sword and sorcery movies. It is good. It does everything you want it to do. So, just to get some other stuff out of the way, it's set in the Forgotten Realms. There are a lot of mentions of places. Even I, as not a Realms fan per se, but familiar enough with the Realms, they have places like Icewind Dale and Neverwinter, and they mention Waterdeep, and Thay features prominently. So they give you those locations that you would expect to see. There are mentions of some of the more prominent characters. Elminster gets a name drop, which I guess you'd have to because it's the Realms. There are a lot of neat little nods to the D&D rules and monsters, especially. You see different monsters out of the monster manual that go back to basic. Some of the classics are either pictured directly or mentioned. And they're done well. They look like they should look, which was a surprise to me, honestly. I was expecting them to do a number on a couple of things, but they nailed it. Especially there's when they're I promise no spoilers, so I'm not going to say anything. I'll do a spoiler-filled review later. But just safe to say, it looked great. It looked like a D&D movie. The special effects were really well done. There's obviously going to be a lot of CGI in here, but it looked like they did some things with practical effects that I wouldn't have expected, and it worked out great. As you know from the trailers, there is they show a rival party in that maze arena thing that is dressed just like the kids from the Dungeons & Dragons cartoon. That was a big thing. They don't feature prominently. They're in that scene throughout, but it was just nice to see that nod to that. So they're very much aware of the nostalgia factor for people who skew older, who still play the game like me. So on the whole, the music I thought was forgettable. It was there, but there weren't any really prominent, memorable themes that I noticed. Like each character, doesn't have their own theme that I would associate with them in terms of the music. So okay, fine. It can't. Okay, not everything can have the Imperial March in it. So there you go. But yeah, on the whole, it is. I thought as a film, as a swords and sorcery film, certainly as a D&D film. It's great. It was really a lot of fun. I would equate it with something like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's funny. I mean, the lead Christopher Pine does he's in a comic role, and there's no getting around that. And that's just fine. That's the role that's the role that was written, and he does it pretty well. Some of the jokes get a little bit annoying. They stretch them out a bit too long here or there. There are a few moments of slapstick, especially towards the end, which is okay, but I thought it was getting they could have dialed back the humor just a little bit at the end when the stakes, when they were at the crescendo and the stakes were really high, and they could have dialed it back a little bit, and I would have been much happier. But as it was, it didn't actively annoy me, except maybe once or twice when they, some of the jokes just kind of wouldn't stop. There was one particularly funny scene towards the end when the sorcerer and the bad guy are doing kind of like this magic duel thing, and they had a couple of funny moments in there. So anyway, I really enjoyed it. I will probably won't see it again in the theater, but I will absolutely watch it. This is one of those movies I will just put on if I see it on TV or it's on streaming or something like that. I'll have it on and I'll enjoy it, just like I watch Guardians of the Galaxy. So if they do another D&D movie of this ilk, I would hope that they kind of make it more of a dramatic choice rather than a comedic choice, and maybe do an Icewind Dale movie with Drizzt and them. That would be a lot of fun, I think, to take it down a little more serious road. But for what it was, going into it knowing, hey, it's a comedy, it's got D&D, I don't know enough about the Realms lore to know if they made any huge errors. I didn't notice anything that was particularly egregious. I'm sure some of the rules, for especially in a movie format, with spells taking the entire casting time doesn't really work well, doesn't really translate to the screen all that well, so spell effects are just kind of going off and going off and going off. And as long as you can move your hands or you can speak, you can get your spell out. I get that. That's just a dramatic choice. Because everything can't be just like it's in the player's handbook, just like everything can't be just like it's in the monster manual. That's just some things you gotta adapt a little bit when you're taking it to the screen. Fine, didn't bother me. So anyway, there it is. I would give this 4 stars out of 5. I really had fun with it. It serves its purpose. It is a fun romp that throws in a whole bunch of D&D tropes and monsters, and it satisfies your expectations. It's set in the Forgotten Realms. And you're not going to, if you're a Forgotten Realms fan, you will know that right away. And even if you're a casual D&D fan, you'll hear things that you recognize. So anyway, that's my recommendation. I would say if you're not one of those who is out to punish Hasbro, and again, I understand it if you are. I'm just saying, if you're not one of those, go see this movie. It's great. Had a lot of fun, and it's definitely worth the price of seeing on the big screen. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think if you've seen the movie. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you have spoilers, please do mark them first so people who are reading the comments don't have things spoiled for them. And I will talk to y'all later. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.